Hello and welcome to another episode of Drunk Game Retellings. As always, I'm your host, Jack. Just to kind of get a little thing mentioned before we get started with this episode, I mentioned last time that I would still keep updating episodes onto SoundCloud as well as my current hosting and iTunes and all that, but I've decided to go back on that. I apologize, but I just gotta move on this one. I can't keep up with all these different hosting things. It just gotta let it go and move on. So, speaking of moving on, here's our new topic. We have my friend Zach here tonight who's going to talk about Fable II, and then he's going to join me live in a moment afterwards to discuss the game and the series and his experience with it in our Tipsy Talk. Now, to kind of explain how this setup works, my friend Zach is going to be very intoxicated, and he's going to try to retell the plot of Fable 2. And then afterwards, both he and I, when we're a little less drunk, are going to discuss, his experience with the game as a whole. So without further ado, here's my friend Zach.
Hi, this is Zach, and this is my drunk retelling of Fable 2. Jesus Christ, I love Guinness. Alright, so the game begins with a child getting shat on by a sparrow, which is probably why your character's name is Sparrow. And it takes place about 5 centuries after the first Fable game. You and your sister Rose are orphans, which kind of fucking sucks, but whatever. So you and your sister Rose are orphans and living in an old town of Bowerstone. Your sister hears a commotion, and the two of you go running down this alleyway where a vendor named Morgo is selling magical items. He sells a mirror and some fucking fuckery, and then he gets to this music box, and he starts talking about how it'll grant any wish that your heart desires. And your sister, and really you, but we don't really know your opinion because you don't speak. Also, I should mention that Sparrow, it can be either a girl or a boy. It just kind of depends on player preference. It's a build-your-own adventure, which is awesome. Anyway, so your sister Rose says that she doesn't believe it. In walks Teresa, who was also in the crowd, monitoring this salesman, who, is sort of shocked by the fact that these children don't believe that magic is real, and convinces Rose that you should collect the 5 gold required to buy this magical music box. So you do a couple of jobs around town. You collect these warrants for a sheriff, and this is where the game gets interesting for me, because you can decide whether or not, once you collect these 5 warrants that the sheriff lost because he's a shitty person, you can decide to either give them back to him or give them to this guy who works for someone named Nicky the Nickname. For the point of the story, I'm just going to say that you give it back to the sheriff. So you collect the 5 gold, and you pay Morgo? Sure. You pay him for this music box. You and your sister take it back to your, shitty alley that you live in because you're orphans. Which sucks. And you crank up the music box, you make your wish, well, Rose, because your character doesn't speak, and the music box vanishes. She goes to bed pissed off. There's a dog sleeping in your weird hut thing, and you both adopt the dog, which is going to be important later. So you adopt this dog, you go to bed. But then you're woken up in the middle of the night by the dog growling, because there are police officers sitting by your, or standing by your bed thing, waking up your sister, telling them that Lord Lucian Fairfax, which, that was the wish. The wish that Rose made on this music box was to live in a castle like Lord Lucian Fairfax, because she's tired of living in poverty. Lord Lucian Fairfax's daughter and wife just passed away, and she wants to live in a castle, and her wish pretty much was to be adopted by Lucian. So Lord Lucian Fairfax's guards, or police officers, whatever, it never really goes into that much detail, come and collect you two, saying that Lord Lucian has requested your presence. The dog stays behind while you two are taken to this castle, and a butler welcomes you and starts walking you down this hallway, and your sister Rose is going on about how much she's so excited to be there, and you're just like, nah, I don't know, because your character doesn't speak. Oh, fuck, that's good Guinness. I don't know what it is about that Guinness, but it's really good. So, the butler tells you before you enter this room, which is at the end of this hallway, he tells you, you have to be polite and be cordial. You can do not speak unless spoken to. Refer to Lord Lucian as my lord, which, of course, your sister is incredibly posh and cockney, so she only says me lord, or me lord, or whatever the fuck cockney people say. Anyway, and to not bring up his wife and daughter. You're welcomed into this room by Lord Lucian Fairfax, who asks you about this music box. He's like, I heard you bought this music box. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And your sister's like, oh, well, we, sort of made a wish, and it disappeared, my lord. My lord? My lord. And then he's like, alright, well, that's of no interest to me. What's amazing is that you were able to use it. And she's like, oh yes, we made a wish, and then the box disappeared. And he's like, well, what was the wish? And he's like, to live in a castle. And, you're just, of course, standing there because you don't speak. And then, he tells you, oh, that can be arranged. Why don't you step on this podium thing? And he's like, he tells you that he's trying to build something, but then he, cuts himself off. He doesn't want to give away the secret. And then he's like, well, why don't you step on this podium thing? And then your sister's like, and he's like, I promise it won't hurt you. And I swear to God, that is an exact line from the game. You can fact check me. That is an exact line from the game. So you step on the podium, and the fuck happens? Yeah, this blue light just comes around this podium thing you and your sister are standing on, and then he remarks that you're heroes, and your sister comments about the heroes of old, and he's like, he reaches out to touch this blue light, which seems stupid to me, and he would want to touch this. So he touches this light, and suddenly it turns red, and then he freaks out. He freaks out. He runs over to these books. He starts, frantically looking at these books, and he's like, and your sister's like, what's happening, my lord? And he's like, shut up! And he's like, you're a hero, but you're none of the three, which means one of you must be the fourth. And then magically he pulls out a gun, which I chalk up to poor graphics, because it was 2008. But he pulls out this gun, and he's like, I'm sorry, and then he shoots your sister in the stomach, and she falls over, dead. And you're like, what the fuck? So he's like, I have to kill you too, I'm sorry. And then it cuts to a cinematic where you're backing up, and then he shoots you, and you fall out a window, and you fall and you fall and you hit a building and you do this weird like tumble thing and then you hit the ground and you should be dead. Like, science says you should be dead, but you're not, because the dog that you adopted walks up and it licks your hand, and you're like, what? Like, you start like clawing at the ground. You're alive. What the fuck? He's alive? And then Teresa, this old lady who was kind of, sort of in the first game, shows up. You know, I think I mentioned her earlier. I probably did, because she's important. But she walks up, and she's like, death won't claim you yet, little sparrow. Because your name's Sparrow. That's fucking stupid. But then it cuts to like this thing, says, 10 years passed, or 10 summers, 10 winters, which I don't think is exactly 10 years, but it might be. So, and it talks about how your pain turns to like hunger for revenge, and then it talks about how like your anger turns to will, which is ironic, and I'll get to that. But she's like his quest will begin, whatever. I don't remember exactly what she says, but that's not important because Teresa's an old hag. So then it cuts back to gameplay, and you and your dog are standing on a bridge. Teresa tells you, something about you being a little sparrow, and she left something next to your house, and you go and get the stuff next to your house, and it's a sword, a crossbow, a potion, a collar for your dog, which is important, because every new collar that you get for your dog means you can rename your dog, which is stupid. I just named my dog Dog. But you get this stuff, and she tells you, she gives you this seal thing, and she tells you to go to this cave, to put on the seal, and it'll unlock this cave, and your quests will begin there. And excuse me. Sorry, I drank too much scotch. Fuck me. Where was I? Cave? Okay, cave. So, you take this seal, you go down to this cave, which requires a little bit of swimming, which I guess somewhere in those 10 years your character learned how to swim, and so did your dog. But, you get to this cave, and you put on the seal, and it unlocks this door on this door. And you go into the cave, and you kill a bunch of beetles. And you learn about what strength and skill are. Strength being your ability to use weapons, and skill being your ability to shoot, like your crossbow. Anyway, so you go further into this cave, and you find out that your ancestor is the hero of Oakvale, which is the hero of Fable I, who defeated Jack of Blades twice. And because of his heroic doings and his genetics, I'm assuming, through his genetics, you too are a hero. But you, unlike other heroes who are specialized in either strength, skill, or will being your ability to control the arcana, being able to cast spells, you are able to use all three. And you need all three in your quest for bloody vengeance, because you kill a lot of motherfuckers along the way. You learn that, and you learn, after completing everything that you need to learn in this cave, which is really just learning how to use the arcana, you go back to Bowerstone, which you haven't been in Bowerstone in 10 years. I'm not saying you go to Old Town, but you go to Bowerstone. So, you go to Bowerstone, you meet with Teresa. Actually, that's a lie. I'm sorry. On your way to Bowerstone, you are encountered by a roadblock, which tells you, by the way, all the guards of this fucking world are voiced by the same guy, and they use the exact same face model for all the guards, except for one guard. And I'll get to him. But still, they use the same voice actor and the same face for all the guards, which makes me assume that someone gave birth to a lot of people at once. Which is really weird to think about. That someone would give birth to all of these people that look exactly the same, and they all went into the same line of work. Not the point. The point is, you encounter this roadblock, which tells you, oh, you can't come into Bowerstone right now because the bandit Thag is running rampant on this road, and somebody really needs to stop him, but we're the law enforcement, so it's not our job to stop him, it's the job of somebody else to stop him. So Teresa's like, this is a good chance to test out your abilities, at which point Sparrow thinks, man, the law enforcement of this world is really fucking shitty. But instead of, commenting on that, you're like, I'm gonna hunt Thag. And then you hunt Thag, and you kill him. So you kill him, the road to Bowerstone opens up, you go back to Bowerstone, and then you do a couple of jobs because Teresa's running late. You don't know why Teresa's running late. She doesn't tell you why she's running late. She just says that she's running late. And you have to work some jobs, which is a perfect time, if you got the Platinum Edition of this game, to go and find Morgo again, because apparently he's opened up a new shop, and go into this magical crystal ball. Or you can go to Knothole, which is this town that you can only go to in the Platinum Edition, and which Knothole is a village that its 4 seasons can be controlled. They control all of their seasons, but currently they're stuck in winter. So you go there to make it summer again, which you do if you complete the quest, or you can be a shithead and just be like, I'm gonna do this quest, and then stop halfway through because you're a shitty person who doesn't like finishing things. I don't know. I don't know you. You don't know me. Let's just drive on with our day. So you do this thing in either Knothole or the cursed crystal ball snow globe thing. You do a job. You work at the blacksmith factory making swords, where he says, now that's how you craft a blade. Or, he really critiques the shit out of everything you're doing. Kind of drives me insane, but I keep working that job. Don't know why, but I do. Anyway, not important. So, you go talk to Teresa. She tells you about... She's like, think about your life. Think about all you've done. Think about all you've accomplished. Everything you've been through. Thag and his gang have been through all those same experiences. What really fucked me up in real life, thinking about that, is like, yeah, I've been through so much in life. And then she's like, well, all these people have been through the same amount of experiences. And I'm like, fuck, that's a lot of experiences. And then it just got me thinking about how everything that I experience, other people experience too, which is crazy. That's some existential shit, and I don't want to get into it. But, not the point. So Teresa tells you that they've had these same experiences, and you killed them all. How does that make you feel? And you only get 2 responses. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Your character doesn't speak. You don't get speech options. You get thumb up or thumb down. And she will give you some sass-mouthin' bullshit either way. Anyway, so she takes you down this road, and she's talking about Lucian Fairfax. And she shows you the tattered spire. And she tells you about the spire. The spire is something that existed in the old world. Fuck, I'm drunk. The spire is something that existed in the old world, which could control, it could harness the people's will. Like I said, will is the arcana. It could harness all the people's arcana. One day, the spire was shining with this bright light, and then suddenly, all life was erased from the world. Which is also some fucked up nihilistic shit. But some people say that the wish was to destroy this old, corrupt world and create a new world. No one knows what the wish was, because everyone died. But still, life was destroyed, so was the spire. And now Lucian Fairfax, the motherfucker who killed your sister, is building a new one. Fuck that guy! I'ma kill him! But wait! Says Teresa, you can't just kill him. You need to recruit the three heroes. The hero of strength, the hero of skill, and the hero of will. To stop this motherfucker who killed your sister and shot you. He shot you! Do you realize that? This motherfucker shot a child! You were maybe 11. Maybe! And he shot you! And instead of crying about it, you adopted this dog. Which, by the way, this dog's with you this whole quest. I don't want to, go into that later. But this dog is with you the whole time. But he shot you! He shot an 11-year-old! What motherfucker shoots an 11-year-old? And you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill him for killing my sister. I assume is what he sounds like, because he never fucking speaks. Except when your dog... See, here's the thing about your dog. Your dog is able to locate treasure chests and dig spots, which will have, money or dye or something. It'll have something that you can sell or use or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But when you're digging, your character goes, yeah! And you hear your character's voice. So your character can exclaim, yeah! In excitement. But he can't fucking speak any other time? What kind of motherfucker? I'm getting off the point. The point is, Lucian Fairfax is building the spire, and you can't stop him. Unless you recruit the help of some of the other heroes. So Teresa tells you to go to Rockridge. We'll say Rockridge. I could be wrong. We'll deal with that later. So she tells you to go to Rockridge, to go and recruit the hero of strength. You go there, you kill a bunch of motherfucking bandits and highwaymen along the way. If you don't know what a highwayman is, open a history book, kids. So you kill a bunch of people along the way. You get to what used to be a bridge. There's no bridge. There's a huge gap in a river. And these bandits across the way are like, heh, we blew up this river. Now you have to jump into the river to get across. And you're like, fuck, I guess I gotta dive into the river. Which I guess in this world, if you're not a hero, if you don't have heroic abilities, if you just jump into a river, you're probably gonna die. From that distance, it'll probably fucking kill you. But if you're a hero, you're okay. It's fine. You can just swim across. So you and Dog, we're just gonna assume, for story's sake, that your dog's name is Dog, because you're a motherfucker like me. So you jump in, you swim across, and you run into a guy whose child has been taken by goblins into this cave. Fuck! That sucks. A kid being taken by goblins into a cave? Fuck. Right? Fuck. So you're like, I'm gonna help you, because you don't actually have an option. Usually in this game, you have an option about things that you do, but this time, you don't. You gotta go into this cave, because you gotta get to Rookridge. And the only way to get to Rookridge, for some goddamn reason, is through this goblin cave. So you go through this cave. The guy that you met dies. He gets killed by a goblin. what you find out after he dies, and after you kill the goblin that killed him, that goblins take children and then turn them into goblins. Not only did this guy die, but he was killed by his own kid goblin. And then you killed a kid goblin. Whoa! Mind blown! So, then you kill all the goblins in this cave because you don't give a fuck. They're not kids anymore, they're goblins. Fuck them. So you kill them all. Fuck them. And then you make it to Rook Ridge. Nice place. Beautiful town. Shitty. What's the word for agriculture? Agriculture. That's the word. So, shitty agriculture. And you find out why. So you meet some guy in the town and he tells you to go to the Temple of Light, where you meet the Monks of Light. Swell people. I actually really like them. I think I get along with them just fine in real life. Took my hat off. You meet this guy, the abbot, head monk guy of the Temple of Light, and he tells you, there is no hero of strength here. Fuck you. But since you're a hero, do you mind going down this cave with my daughter Hannah, sister Hannah, because she's a monk? Apparently these monks, even though they're pacifists and all that shit, can have sex and reproduce. That seems bullshit to me. But I'm not going to get into that. So, you go and meet Hannah. Big motherfucking Hannah that she is. People call her Hammer. She is a big person. She's fucking strong. Hero of strength, maybe? Obviously not. The abbot told you she's not. Obviously she is. So, you meet Hannah. Big body, small head. And long red dreads. She's Hannah. People call her Hammer. Did I say that? I did say that? Fuck. Oh well, I'll say it again. So you meet Hannah, and she's a pacifist. So you take her down to this cave and you kill a bunch of shadow things. So you kill them, and then you get this thing. It's like the Tree of Life, if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z. It's like a Tree of Life, golden oak tree thing. And that's your whole purpose of being there. But while you're down there, while you're making your way through this cave, Teresa tells you, we've got to find a way to convince the hero of strength to join us. While you're down there, and the whole purpose of you being there is because you're a hero, and they know that you can handle the dangers down there. So you get this oak tree thing, and then suddenly a monk comes running down and is like, Sister Hannah, there's a madman up there with a gun to your father's head. And she's like, what? And she just grabs a hammer from the statue and runs upstairs. Irony? Probably. So she runs up there, and you run up there, and you find the abbot and the gunman dead. Both of them dead. Did Lucian send them because he found out that she was the hero of strength? Or did Teresa send him to inspire her to join your quest? Who the fuck knows? Either way, she's like, from now on, my name is Hammer, even though she hates that name. And I'm gonna join your quest. So you take her back to, what's her name? Teresa. You take her back to Teresa, and she joins your party, but Teresa keeps her in this Heroes Guild room thing, the cave that you went into when you were learning how to use will. And she's like, alright, now we need to find the hero of will. You can find him. His name is Garth. You met him right before your sister died. You can meet him at this, By the way, I just want to say, my favorite sentence that Jack told me before we started telling me this was that there was a trash can right next to me in case I threw up. That was my favorite sentence of the night. And there actually is a trash can here. I just touched it. I didn't realize it was actually there. There is a trash can next to me in case I throw up. That's fucking great. Jack, you're a great friend. Fucking fist bump. Okay, so we're doing this thing. She's like, you can go find Garth. He's in Garth's mansion. And you're like, fucking cool. Except you don't say that because your character doesn't fucking speak. Anyway, so you go to Garth's mansion and you get attacked by bandits. You get attacked, like you're getting attacked. This whole mansion's on fire and you're being fucking attacked. And there's this thing called a shard and it's attacking you. The shard is used to teleport Lucian's guards from the spire to wherever the shard is. And you're being attacked by Lucian's guards. And finally you find Garth. He is just this bloody, beaten mess. And you're about to get to him and this wall of fire appears, which if you're Frankenstein, fuck fire. If you're not Frankenstein, also fuck fire, because fire can just fucking hurt you really bad. But anyway, so you find this fire wall, and Garth is between, this firewall is between you and Garth, and this guy appears, which he seems, since I mentioned Frankenstein, he seems kind of Frankenstein-esque. He's gray, and he's got his whole body covered except his eyes. He grabs Garth, and he disappears through the shard. And you're like, fuck. So Teresa's like, he's been taken back to the spire, and the only thing, he's like, we gotta get him from the spire. And she finds out that Lord Lucian Fairfax is recruiting people who have competed in the Crucible, which the Crucible is this tournament. It's eight different tiers, 3 rounds each of just hardcore bloody shit. It's the hardest thing that you can fucking do if all you do is play story mode, which is why you gotta play side missions and shit. But I'm not gonna talk about side missions because that's not important. So you find out that you have to go and compete in the Crucible, which takes place in this town, that the only way to get to this town is through bandit territory. And you and Hammer, go through this town, go through this bandit territory, and along the way you encounter Balverines, which are kind of these werewolf-esque creatures. And after you defeat these Balverines for the first time, Hammer is like, she's telling you how much good you're accomplishing, because when she was a monk, all she would do was hope and pray that the world would get better, but it never did. But now you're killing all these bad guys and these evil creatures, like you're killing goblins, you're killing Balverines, you're killing bandits, and you're killing highwaymen, you're killing these shadow beings, and fuck, you kill a lot of people. Like, if you really think about all the people you kill, that kind of fucks you up. All these people. Yeah, sure, they're NPCs, but if you pretend for a moment that these are real people, and you kill, like, you think about how many people you've killed, because at this point, if you check your body count, which you can check your body count, it tells you how many people you've killed, and it's like in the thousands at this point, and you're like, fuck, I've killed a lot of people. And if you pretend for a moment that they're not NPCs, they're real people who have lived real lives, some of these people are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. I'm going to assume they're not in their 50s, because there's no way anybody can live in their 50s living this lifestyle. But if you think about how many people you've killed, fuck, that really fucks you up. You gotta think about that for a moment. These people, they have lived through some shit. Some of them have probably seen drug addiction, probably rambling. But they have lived through some shit, and they have struggled, and you just kill them! You motherfucker! You kill them! Anyway, so you kill all these bandits. And you get to this town, and you're gonna compete in this crucible. You and Hammer are gonna compete in this crucible. Your dog can't. Fuck you if you think your dog can, because your dog can't. Hammer is gonna compete in this crucible until she calls out this commentator. She talks about how stupid his name is. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry that I don't, but I don't care. All he does is commentate on the crucible. But anyway, so she talks about how stupid his name is, and the guy at registration's like, "You can't do it now!" And you're like, alright, well, I'll just do it myself. So you do it, you gain notoriety, and it's important to note that at this point, you unlock the nickname Lionheart. And there's a town crier in Bowerstone that you can go and talk to, and you can change your name to things like Chicken Kicker, or Sharpshooter, or things like that. You can change your name. And one of the names you can change your name to is Lionheart, which is a way cooler name than Sparrow. But let's just pretend, for the sake of sakes, that you keep your name Sparrow. So you keep your name Sparrow. You've beaten the Crucible. You've won. You find out, like I said, Teresa tells you that the winners of the Crucible can be recruited into Lucian Fairfax's army. So, you've beaten the Crucible. You've been recruited into Lord Lucian Fairfax's army. So let's pretend, for the sake of sakes, that you've taken on a wife and child. Or you've taken on a wife. Because that's something else you can do. You can marry. You can get married in this game. If you're a male, you can marry another man or a woman. If you're a female character, you can marry a male or a female character. It doesn't matter. But let's pretend, for this story, that you're a male character. You marry a female character. Another thing that you can do in this game is you can have sex. You can have protected sex, or you can have unprotected sex. So you get married, you have sex, and then you leave. Because you know that Garth is being held in the spire. And you need Garth. He's important. For whatever reason. It's not like you actually need any of these other heroes. You can do everything yourself. But anyway, so you leave. Go to the Spire to be a part of Lucian's army. Upon arrival, you meet the Commodore, the Commander, Commissioner. Anyway, it starts with a C. I don't care. So you meet this guy. You have a collar around your neck. You're given new clothes. And he tells you that a part of being here is you have this collar that gives the commissioner, we're going to call him the commissioner, it gives him power to punish you for disobeying his orders. Which it's a torture device. Alright? It's not a means of control, it's a torture device. And you meet Garth along the way, who telepathically tells you to be patient. Your time will come. 10 years! You spent 10 fucking years being a guard at this spire. And being tortured. I'm just gonna pretend that you spend the whole time making good options, not the bad options, because the whole point of this game is you can be good or evil. But we're gonna pretend that you're playing the game as if you're good. So you play the game, you're good. You spend 10 years doing good options, being tortured by the commissar, by the commissioner? Is that what I decided to call him? Commissioner. So you spend 10 years being tortured by the commissioner. Finally, the commissioner tells you to go find this guard who's gone missing. You find him. He's dead. Fuck. That sucks. How'd he die? It doesn't actually tell you. That's weird. It doesn't tell you how he died. You know what? Go and write the producers, the people who write for Lionhead Productions. Ask them why the fuck that guard is dead. Because I want to know. Hey, you know what? I might do it myself. I might write them. Write them. I guess there's more than one people producing this game. I don't know. Anyway, so you find this guard. He's dead. Fuck. That really sucks, being dead. I wouldn't know. I've never been dead. But you know that he's dead. So you take his weapons, and Garth uses the last remaining magic that he has, because he's been trapped for 10 years too. All his power has been drained to build the spire. But Garth casts this spell, and he breaks your collar, and then you just go on a bloody fucking rampage, killing all these guards that you've been guarding bullshit with for 10 years. 10 years! I'm sure you've gotten close with these people. Fuck them. You've killed them. You kill all of them. And then you get to the commissar. Commissioner? Alright, so then finally you get to the commissioner. He's a tough motherfucker, by the way. But you kill him! And you let Garth absorb his power so that he can regain his strength. And then you and him break free, get out of this motherfucker. God damn, I can only imagine getting free of this place. You get free, you go back to Rookridge? Rookridge. You get back to Rookridge. Teresa is waiting for you. She takes Garth back to the Heroes Guild cave that you went through the first fucking few minutes of the game. Then, like I said, assuming that you got married and you had unprotected sex, suddenly your wife has a 10-year-old child because 10 years have passed. That's going to be important later. But anyway, you go to a bar, you meet with Hammer. She's great. Hammer's great. Anyway, Teresa tells you that you need to go and recruit the hero of skill. And he's in Bloodhaven. Or Bloodhood. Blood something, alright? He's in Blood. And Garth is like, well, I can teleport you there. I wish I could do Garth's voice. But, if you've never played this game, and you want to know what Garth sounds like, just watch Firefly. He's Shepherd Book. And then you can, get that voice in your mind. He's like, I can teleport you there. And, this is an extremely white voice. This is really white, but he's black. Anyway, he tells you he can teleport you to Bloodridge. That's the fucking name of the place, Bloodridge! Fuck me. And he's like, I can teleport you there, but we gotta go back to my mansion. So you go to the mansion, and while he's charging up the spell to teleport you there, you encounter a lot of people that you gotta fight. And he casts you there. But he doesn't. There's so much distractions going on. He doesn't teleport you there directly. He teleports you to this place that's it's ruinous. It's covered in fog. Everything you encounter there, every person you encounter there is a skeleton. It's a ghost. Teresa tells you that Garth and Hammer are back at the Heroes Guild. They got teleported there instead of where you are. Only you and your dog are in this place. You're in shin deep water, surrounded by ghosts and zombies. And I'm gonna be totally honest, this is just me. I don't know about other people. I love horror movies, but that place scares the shit out of me. It really does. I'm sorry, it does. Teresa tells you while you're trying to make your way through there that this place used to be Oakvale, which the hero of Fable 1 is the hero of Oakvale. Whether you play as a male or a female, it's the hero of Oakvale. one person, made a deal with the Shadow League. I think they're called the Shadow League. Made a deal with them, and in that deal, all the lives of Oakvale were sacrificed. And here they are. All you're doing is continuously destroying their bodies until you finally make it to Oak Ridge. I'm going to stop right there. You don't make it to Oak Ridge. Before that, you encounter banshees. And you have to kill these banshees. And they're fucking terrifying. They're like mini bosses. But the banshees actually say things. They talk to you. And one of the things they tell you is that Rose didn't die immediately. Rose was actually alive long enough to see you shot and fall out that window. That's fucked up. Am I right? I'm right? That's pretty fucked up. Anyway, Rose sees these things happen. God damn it, I'm drunk. What was I talking about? Where's I at? Bloodridge? Okay, so we're at Bloodridge. And you find the hero of skill. His name is Reaver. Fucked up name. He's a pirate. He tells you the only way that you're going to be able to join... He's going to be able to join your party. And he's like, I'll join your quest if you take this crest thing, key, to the Shadow Guild. That's what they're called. The Shadow Guild. If you take this to the Shadow Guild, and you have to go back through that fucking swamp thing with all the zombies and ghosts and shit. And you take this crest to the Shadow Guild, and you find out Reaver is the motherfucker who 100 years ago sacrificed all of Oakvale to the Shadow Guild for immortality and eternal youth. You're like, you take this crest thing to them, and in there is a young woman. And you have the option of sacrificing this young woman's youth to the Shadow Guild, or sacrificing your own youth to the Shadow Guild. And for the sake of sake, we're going to assume that you sacrifice your own youth. So you sacrifice your youth to the Shadow Guild. You're an old man now. You're ugly. You're old. Life's kind of hard, man. When you're on the quest for vengeance, life is hard. So you go back to Reaver, and he informs you that Lord Lucian has put out a warrant for your arrest. And he's turned you in. But because he turned you in, Lord Lucian is after him and you. Realizing that he's been double-crossed, you and him escape through his escape tunnel to get away from Lord Lucian. But once you get to the end of his escape tunnel, you find Garth and Hammer waiting for you. But also there's this thing called the Greater Shard, which is just a shard, but really, really fucking big. And it keeps spawning fucking Lucian guards all over the place. God damn, those people are persistent. And Garth is like, we can stop them, but first, I have to cast a spell. Stall them for me. That sounds like an NPC. But you kill all these guards, and Garth is finally able to destroy this thing, and Teresa's like, I'm going to take you to Hero Hill, where we can summon the weapon that'll be able to destroy... What's his name? Lucian? We'll be able to destroy the shard, the spire, and Lucian. So, my world is spinning. All I see is fire. You go to the Hero Hill, and you cast the spell that'll summon this weapon, but the weapon doesn't appear, but all of the heroes, the 3 heroes, not you, are all unconscious, and Teresa's gone. And then suddenly Lucian and his guards show up, they take the heroes away, and Lucian tells you, the last time I killed you, my heart broke. Meaning, he recognizes you as the little girl that he shot. And he shoots you, but he doesn't. Because in him shooting you, your dog, this is why the dog was important. I told you earlier the dog important. He shoots you, and the dog gets in the way and is killed instead. But Lucien, being like 20 years later, he's heartless. He doesn't care. Instead, he just reloads and shoots you in the head. I might throw up. Not right now, though. I'll throw up in the basket. So he shoots you in the head. That sucks. Occasionally I wonder what being shot in the head is like, but at the same time I don't want to think about it. So he shoots you in the head, and suddenly you wake up. You're a little boy, and you're with Rose, and you're at your family farm. And you and Rose just have a field day, fucking kicking chicken and whatever shit. Because that's one of the nicknames you can get. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. One of the nicknames you can get is kicking chicken. But you have to unlock like a... What do they call it in Xbox 360? It's an award? An achievement. It's an achievement. You unlock the achievement chicken kicker, and then suddenly you can unlock the nickname chicken kicker from the town crier. Anyway, so you have a field day having fun with your sister that you haven't seen in 20 years. That's gotta suck. I mean, I'm not very close with my sisters, but that's gotta suck. Anyway, so you unlock and then you go to bed, and you wake up in the middle of the night, and your sister tells you to go back to bed, but you hear all this, you hear this music, and you follow the music, and you're in the distance, your sister is screaming for you to come back, and then she screams no, which is the last word that she said before she was shot and died. And you see all these dead bodies, and finally you find the music box, and you take the music box, and suddenly you flash through your life from childhood to young adult to adult, and then you're at the spire, and you take the music box, and you see Lord Lucien Fairfax harnessing the power of the three heroes, and using the music box, you destroy his power. You destroy his hold of the spire. And then using either will or skill or strength, you can kill Lord Lucien in one hit, which is anticlimactic. And then Teresa appears after the heroes regain consciousness, and you have three choices. At the end of the game, you have three choices. Either you can choose the path of love, which allows you to revive your family and your dog, but the people who built the spire will be dead. Or you can choose the path of... What was called the path of light, because I don't remember what it's called. You can choose the path of light and revive all of the thousands of people that built the spire, but you'll never get your dog back or your family unless you have the Platinum Edition. Or you can choose the path of wealth, the selfish path. This is the evil path, and you can choose the path. And in choosing this, you get $1 million. You get $1 million exactly. But the people who built the thousands of people are still dead, and your family and dog are still dead. And then afterwards, Teresa gives all these people, gives the three heroes the option of where they want to go and spend the rest of their life. And you can continue the game no matter which three path you choose. You can continue the game and just continue all these side quests and shit, and just keep playing. But you can never go back to the spire. Anyway, whichever three path you choose ends the game, and we're gonna pretend for the sake that you chose the path of selflessness, brought all these thousands of people back, and that you own the Platinum Edition, so you can go to Knothole Island. Cause at Knothole Island there's the tomb of Cheater, and you can sacrifice one person and bring your dog back to life. Because even if you choose the path of love, you'll never see your sister again. I'm sorry, that's anticlimactic, but that's really the end of the game. One of these three options ends the game. And that's it. That's the whole game. That, my friends, is Fable II.
welcome to Tipsy Talk. I mentioned this early in the intro of the episode. As always, I'm Jack, and with me is the guy you just heard. It's my friend Zach.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
That's great to hear. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very inebriated, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, don't worry. We have some of these. We have some snacks. Our viewers. We have Sheila G's Brownie Brittle Salty Caramel. I'm not paid to say this. Also, I ripped off the part that says how many calories per serving. So I'm just gonna assume there's.
If I'm also gonna be honest, so back when I was in the Army, back at Fort Gordon in Augusta, Georgia, one of the PXs. I never noticed it at the main PX, but at one of the smaller PXs, which is kind of like a grocery store gas station mix.
Yeah.
Anyway, while we were there, I was with a battle buddy, and that was the first time I ever saw Sheila G's Brownie Brittle, and I bought one, and I'm not paid to say this either, but holy shit, this stuff is amazing. And now that I've tried it, and I saw Jack here, show me this salty caramel brownie brittle, I lost my mind. I actually did. It's so good.
Yeah, viewers at home, go please buy Sheila G's Brownie Brittle, and Sheila G, please sponsor this podcast. That'd be super.
Oh, please do. That would be great.
That'd be great. But getting back to the main topic at hand, this episode we are talking about Fable II and the game you just discussed, and this is a drunk game retelling first, but I've actually never played Fable II, so...
Yeah? Really?
Yeah, really. I've played only the original. The original, they had it on Xbox 360s. They had it on their Xbox Live Arcade. You could buy it on there digitally, and I played it for a bit.
Was it the, was it the Anniversary Edition, or was it original?
It was the original.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the original, and I was playing that, and I was like... This is not for me, so I went back to playing Kingdom Hearts instead on the PS2.
Well, you know how I feel about Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
I'm so diehard.
But for now, we're going to talk about Fable 2. So, just to kind of start off, how did you first get into Fable 2, or just Fable in general?
Well, Fable 2. If I'm going to be real, I started playing Fable 1 back in 6th grade. My friend Corey, who I have not talked to in years, Jack, he introduced me to Fable 1. And at first, I didn't think much of it. Fuck me. But I didn't think much of it. It was interesting to me because, he was like, me and him were both on the same soccer team, and he's like, look at this, you can play soccer in this game. And I was like, really? How? And he cut off a town guardsman's head and started kicking it around.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what blew me away. That's also why I didn't play Fable 1 or Fable 2 for a while. He was, he started kicking this dude's head around. I was like, fuck, what is this? And flash forward to 2011, 2012, my friend Tyler, he's a huge Fable fan. He really is. He's a bigger fan than I am, and if he can hear me right now, hi Tyler. But fuck. Oh god. That's the scotch coming to kick my ass. But anyway, so he was a huge Fable fan, and I was interested at this point because I saw him playing it, and he loaned me Fable 2. And that was 2011, 2012. Back when we were living together. Maybe even 2013, 2014, I don't know. But he loans me this game, and I was hooked immediately. And I'll say, compared to the Fable 1 ending or the Fable 3 ending, it's very anticlimactic. Because in Fable 1, you fight a dragon. Or in Fable 3, you fight this ooze being. This ooze creature. That's the ending. But in Fable 1, it's one hit, one kill. But I don't ever view Fable 2, I don't ever view the ending as that important. Because you can keep playing. There's still missions. There's still tons of side missions. There's still more story, and you can go back to Blood Ridge, and there's this uber powerful Banshee. There's so much you can accomplish, even after the game's over, that I don't view the ending as the actual end. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Go on.
So would you say that a reason that you're really into this game is for kind of its the depth as far as what you can do with it? Or?
Yes, absolutely. See, I understand there are games like Elder Scrolls out there, or Fallout, and don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Bethesda fan. Bethesda.
That's the new Zelda. Because really more it's just Zelda, the original Zelda, just done again. But that's kind of what people say. It's,
to hell with Link.
It's Bethesda.
It's Bethesda. But no, like I'm a huge Bethesda fan, but it really is. I didn't play any of the Elder Scrolls games before I played the Elder Scrolls games, and back when I was a kid, I did own a PS2 and a 360, and I can tell you how I got the PS2. I don't know how I got the 360. That just magically appeared in my home one day. But as far as I was concerned, 360 was dedicated only to Halo and Gears of War.
Yeah.
Like any of those games. But when Tyler introduced me to Fable, the Fable franchise,
yeah,
I was hooked. And I was the first game where I ever experienced. You didn't have to spend the whole game on the plot. There were so many side quests, and there was so much depth, and you could learn about the world, and you could actually explore. You don't get things like that from first-person shooter or third-person shooters. To get that from a game like Fable, it changed my life. It really did.
I could see that. Like, it's always great to be able to experience something like that for like the first time. Like I guess that's why so many people were into the Elder Scrolls 4 for Oblivion, because that's kind of like their first experience with that sort of RPG. Yeah.
Oh, Oblivion also changed my life. That was one of those. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend for a moment that I'm a gamer, because I'm really not.
That's totally fine.
I do love gaming, and I have since buying it. I have since heavily modified my PS4, and although I'm gonna get an Xbox One, I'm gonna modify it too, so that it just holds more information.
Right.
I'm a huge PC guy. I'm team PC. Go ahead, keyboard warriors, and hate me, but I'm a PC guy. But games like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, not so much Skyrim, although since getting my PC, I have played a heavily modded version.
Yeah.
Getting games like Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Fable II have just changed my life. I didn't realize that there could be so much depth and intrigue in a game.
Yeah.
And although Fable 2, there's a lot of comical, a lot of the side mission stuff, if you really dig into the world, there's a lot of comical nonsense. But ignoring that, there's so much depth and intrigue. I didn't mention this, but did you realize that you can own homes? You can rent out
I remember
homes.
that being a feature. Yeah,
and you can buy your own house to live in, and you can change the furniture.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that was a thing in gaming until Fable 2.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course you get into games like Elder Scrolls and Fallout 4, and you realize that
it's kind of expanded upon that since then. But would you say this is your favorite? Fable 2 would be your favorite of those types of games?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wholeheartedly. And even keeping in mind that this game is from 2008. In 2008, X-Play, which obviously G4 isn't a network anymore, X-Play gave it the Game of the Year award. And I used to base my whole opinion on games on X-Play.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Oh, man. Oh, my God, man. I loved X-Play.
I remember G4 from, the old days.
Wasn't it the shit?
It was rad.
Like who else talked about games like Knights of the Old Republic or Old Republic or
in any sort of
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, Metal Gear. It's a different time, really, where it's like you didn't really have the internet as it is now, where you have all these different voices, like not just like Let's Players, but just like internet personalities in general be able to talk, or like blogging, really.
Two Best Friends Play or Markiplier.
Yeah, exactly. Any of those types of people. It's
Damascus
or Chip Cheese and Maracus. You know, that sort of thing. It's like that wasn't really around. Like I remember, like I only had to know about games was like XPlay and game trailers. Really.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that or Game Informer. Really.
Yeah.
It's like,
or maybe if you were well informed enough E3.
Oh yeah.
And even now, I don't like now, especially given all the internet hype. I don't hold E3 in that high regard.
Well, no, because like E3 now, so most of the games now are kind of spoiled beforehand. Like I think one of the Fable games was like announced before, like actually got canceled now. Another thing, that's kind of the weird thing about E3 is like
that's true.
Yeah, that's kind of the. What do you think about like Fable games after like what do you think about 3 and beyond?
Well, all right, so 3 and beyond. So 3 has kind of a special place in my heart, but it has nothing to do with the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that your character speaks. That's wonderful. It has a climactic ending, which is great because as much as I love Fable 2, Fable 1 and Lost Chapters, Fable Lost Chapters has a climactic ending. Fighting Jack of Blades in dragon form? That's fucking intense. But Fable 3 has a climactic ending, but even the ending is post-game. But it has a special place in my heart because your dog companion... See, in Fable 2, your dog companion is a mutt. And if you have the Platinum Edition, there's a place you can go where you can buy these potions that will change your dog's breed. Okay. Your dog is a mutt in Fable 2, but you can change it to a husky, or you can change it to a different kind of mutt, or if you make nothing but good decisions, you can make it a golden retriever.
Oh,
if you make nothing but bad decisions, you can make it a pit bull, which I find kind of offensive.
That's mean.
That's mean.
Pit bulls are not that bad.
Actually, my best friend, Sonny, shout out to Sonny and Chris, by the way, because both of them own pit bull border collie mixes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the sweetest dogs I've ever met. And I own a teacup Yorkie. His name is Theodore Montgomery Harwell. He's the sweetest dog. I love him so much with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetest dog. He can fit in my hand. But these dogs, I mean, they're big and they're sweet. They're babies.
Yeah.
I love them. They're pit bulls. But if you make nothing but evil decisions in Fable 2, they're pit bulls, which kind of pisses me off. But in Fable 3, your dog companion starts off as a border collie, which that's why Fable 3 holds a special place in my heart, because my dog Jake was a border collie. May he rest in peace. He did die a few years ago.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've dealt with it. I've moved on. But Jake was very special to me because before Jake, I had a fear of big dogs. And when I met Jake, he changed my whole world. He was the sweetest dog. He had abandonment issues, so if you tried to leave the house, if more than one person tried to leave the house, he would grab a hold of your pants leg and try to keep you in the house. He ruined a lot of my pants and a couple of my girlfriend's pants, but he was the sweetest dog. I really did love him.
Aww.
And I hope he's resting in peace happily with my other dogs, Fergie and Lulu and Maxie, who have all passed away, of course. But like I said, I've moved on. That's why Fable 3 holds a special place in my heart. But to get back to the original point, you're right. There hasn't been a sequel to Fable 3 since... I mean, there hasn't been a sequel to Fable 2 since 2013, maybe?
I think seems like it.
That sounds about right. But Fable 3 was a really good game in that your character spoke, it held on to a lot of the same things that Fable 2 set up. But there's one thing in Fable 2 that you have to press the right bumper to absorb the experience from your opponents, as opposed to in Fable 3 it'll just automatically absorb.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice. Your character it automatically absorbs experience. Your character speaks, and your dog is a border collie. Fuck, that's great. I love border collies. That's real life. Border collies are the smartest breed, unless they've proven otherwise recently. But last time I checked, in the most recent study, border collies are the smartest breed.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a lot of improvements. The graphics are better, the controls are better, because I can complain about the graphics of Fable 2 all day. But at the same time, this is 2016, and I'm still playing Fable 2. I'm not playing Fable 1 or Fable 3. But also, it's been 3 to 4 years, and there hasn't been a sequel. There hasn't been another Fable game.
Well, I mean, there has been, but it's like...
I mean, not really.
It's like, what, you mean you don't like the Kinect game?
Oh, come on! Come on! You want to talk about Kinect? Let's talk about Kinect.
Fable Kinect, doesn't it have the girl, the blind girl from all the other games? She's there, so it's...
Teresa?
Teresa!
Look, man. Teresa's in 3.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes me like 3? No! God, no! You know what my biggest problem with the Fable franchises?
Okay.
I didn't see this as a problem in 1.
Alright.
And I don't see it as a huge problem in 2. Because 2 inspired me to go... You alright?
Oh my god.
Fucking Heineken, right?
The Heineken's trying to murder me.
I'm telling you, I told you a story earlier about Heineken.
Yes,
if you want, I'll tell you the story again.
You don't have to. We'll just count it as the Kinect.
You know
it's revenge.
You know what's killing me right now?
What?
Guinness. Guinness is what's killing me right now. that scotch that I drank earlier, because I like to pretend that I'm fancy and pretentious, was killing me. But this Guinness is fucking me up.
I'm just drank that. It just went through the wrong too. I'm fine, but
Yeah.
continue.
Alright, so my biggest problem, looking back on it, so I didn't see this as a problem in Fable 1. In Fable 2, before you can participate in the Crucible, before you can go on the quest to get the Golden Oak Acre, before you can meet Reaver, you have to gain more renown. Which you gain renown by going on side quests,
right,
by doing jobs, by either bounty hunting or slave trading. And I don't ever do the slave trading.
No.
Because...
That's horrible.
That's horrible!
Well,
I wouldn't do that in real life. Why would I do that in a game?
Yeah, no.
But bounty hunting, that sounds fucking awesome. Dog the Bounty Hunter was one of my favorite shows. But you gain renown by doing these things.
Right.
Or by building social, like, popularity.
Yeah.
You don't ever do that shit in real life. In 1, I didn't notice it. In 2, you can't meet these people without renown. 3, renown is how the game, like, builds on itself. If you don't gain renown in 3, the game doesn't progress.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I noticed. I could be wrong. Fucking hate flare me. I don't give a shit. But if you don't gain renown, you can't progress in the game. That's just how it is. And that's my problem with 3. And then you get to the fucking Kinect. What was it? Fable Legacy is what it's called?
Something like that. It's
something stupid.
Fable Kinectimals.
First off, I don't give a shit about the Kinect. Wii Fit didn't fucking inspire me to start moving. Fucking PlayStation
Move.
PlayStation Move doesn't inspire me to start moving. If I want to get fit, if I want to move, I'm going to do what I do in real life and go to a goddamn gym. Or I'm going to do Army PT, which I learned from fucking... how many times have I brought that up in the night?
Not
whatever.
Many.
I'm going to do PT, which the PT is stupid too. But I'll go to a goddamn gym and I'll lift weights and I'll do cardio like a real human being. I'm not gonna do it on Wii Fit or PlayStation Move or Xbox Kinect. Which is also spelled stupidly, and that bothers me.
Just Kinect, like Kinect?
Yeah, it kind of bothers me. But
Oh,
like,
really?
it's copyright.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I never bothered to play Fable Legacy. And that's because I'm waiting for an actual sequel. And I'm not just waiting for a sequel to 3. I'm waiting for a Fable game that goes back to its roots.
Uh-huh.
And is more like 1 or 2.
So, did you have any sort of excitement about that one that was announced a while back?
I got a little hyped about it, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm a huge comic book fan. So when I hear things related to one of those two things, yeah, I'll get hyped, but I'll try to keep my standards.
Oh yeah, that's always nice to do.
Like when one of the things that you and I bonded over was Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh yeah. Which
they had just released the first cinematic trailer when we were talking about.
That's right. That was a long time ago.
That was so long ago. By the way, listeners, I don't know if you know this about Jack. Jack and I used to, after Hurricane Katrina, for about, 4 or 5 years after?
I think so.
Consistently for those 5 years. He and I used to go down to New Orleans and Mississippi, religiously. We would go down there and tear down ruined houses and build new ones. We were all about that. We built new houses. I want to say we built about 4 or 5 at least.
Seems like it. We dug up some very interesting things.
Oh.
Do you remember that one time we found, those, was it some sex toys, was it?
Yes. Actually, I want to say that was our first year there.
Yeah.
We found our first house. We trimmed down the yard.
Yeah.
We tore down the first house, but before the house was totally brought down, we were clearing it out, and we found a vibrator?
We found a vibrator. Yeah, and some
what was it? A sex ring?
I think so. I think we saw a ball and gag as well.
A ball and gag, yes, that was it. But you know what really blew me away?
What?
So we find all these crazy sex toys and all these like sex magazines like Hustler. No, Hustler, was that it?
Maybe.
Penthouse.
Yeah, there you go.
Penthouse. So we found all these Penthouse and Playboys. But the thing that drove me crazy, so we find all these things and Warhammer 3.
I was about to say that in Fallout 2.
We did find Fallout 2, yeah.
That's right.
But I only heard about that one. I didn't actually see the physical copy. I saw the physical copy of Warhammer 3.
Oh, yeah.
Which also is one of my favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
But so the Fable game that was announced that ended up falling through because I think Lionhead.
They're done. They're
done.
Yeah, Microsoft's like, so they're done, and also they've been kind of done for a while because Peter Molyneux, he's an interesting figure. He quit during, I think, after the Kinect game. He was like, I'm done.
I would too.
Yeah.
If I was working for Lionhead Productions, during in Fable Legacy got produced, I'd quit too. But that's why we're not gonna see it. At least as far as I'm concerned, we're not gonna see it. Here's my problem with Fable. Because I love Fable, and I can guarantee you, when I go home tonight, I'm gonna pick up my 360, not my Xbox One, which
you don't own yet.
I'm also gonna say, yeah, I don't own it, but I also think they missed a mark there by not calling it the 740 or something.
720.
720.
Yeah, or just Xbox.
I'm also terrible at math, if anybody knows me. But, why didn't they just name it the 740? Why did they name it the Xbox One? Why not the 740?
Yeah, I think that's the same problem like the Wii. They gave it a terrible name. People get confused. They just go, Xbox One. I already own an Xbox One. It's the original.
Yeah. Although Wii is a great name. Nintendo Wii was a great name.
Yeah, the Wii's a great name. Wii U. It's like that makes a confusing point.
They fucked up.
they fucked up, and they also fucked with the Xbox One in more ways than one, because it's also like, where are the games?
Yeah.
Because it's like, where's the new Fable? Oh, we cancel it.
But at the same time, like, I will give Xbox One credit for being backwards compatible, and I can only play like PS3, PS2 games by going on PC.
Yeah, you have to basically buy the games again.
Yeah, I gotta get like a what's it called?
They have PlayStation Now, which is the streaming service you can have for the PlayStation 3. Yeah. The
PlayStation Now, wonderful thing. I'm gonna say I love it, but at the same time, like I can't just like pop in a PS2 or PS3.
It's like I might as well just plug in my PS3.
Like I bought while I was away, while I was stationed at Fort Gordon. I bought. Which it's not like I was far away. I could have gotten my shit shipped to me at Fort Gordon.
Yeah.
But while I was stationed there, I bought on Amazon Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Warfighter.
Okay.
For PS3. And but at the same time, I bought a PS4, and I was hoping that I could that it
play those. Yeah.
But it's not. So, but that's not important. But the point that I was getting at, why we're never going to see another Fable game. The thing that I see about Fable. Here's where it falls apart for me. Like I said, I promise you that when I go home, I'm going to pick up my 360. And I'm going to play. I'm probably going to start from the beginning, play Fable 2 again.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm hooked. I'm lifelong hooked. But Fable has a couple of problems here.
Okay.
Other than the fact that Lionhead Productions is out of business.
Well, yeah.
Which sucks, but that's a point that I'm going to get into later in this podcast.
Okay.
So, if you will remind me, please.
Okay, sure.
So, a couple of the problems. One, not enough fan service. Every Fable game picks up as if you don't need to play the previous one.
Yeah.
You can totally ignore the Sword of Ion or Evo's Tears without playing Fable 2. But then you pick up some of the legendary weapons in Fable 2, and there aren't many. You really need the DLCs to get the legendary weapons of Fable 2. So there's no fan service there.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that you can buy, and I mean you have to work and gain money, in-game money.
Yeah.
To go to a store, to go to a bookstore in-game to buy books that tell the story of Fable 1 that aren't even historically accurate.
Yeah.
And that's something you notice if you play Fable 1. If you've played Fable 1 completely through and you've played it multiple times, and you've even played Fable Lost Chapters, you can buy books in Fable 2 and be like, that's not a historically accurate statement.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no canonical lineage. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to play Fable 1 to play Fable 2. And in that essence, you don't have to play Fable 3, or you don't have to play Fable 2 to play Fable 3. And especially, you don't have to play Fable Legacy to play, you don't have to play any of the 3 to play Fable Legacy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's no connectivity. There's even Fable books. I don't know if any of you know this, what did I say those werewolf things were?
I'm forgetting. I'm sorry.
Banneville?
You don't have to remember top of your head.
Whatever, but there's a book.
They're werewolves, yeah.
There's books that you can read. There's Fable books that you can read that don't even, that Lionhead has even said aren't canon. They're great books, too. I've read them. They're actually wonderful high fantasy books, which fantasy and high fantasy are obviously different things. Don't go to a bookstore and be like, where are your fantasy books? You want to ask for high fantasy. But they're wonderful books. They're well written. Great authors. I'm so sorry that I can't remember your names. I'm drunk. I've had a lot of Guinness. a lot of Ghost River, and a lot of Monkey Shoulder. And, of course, Jack, maybe some Whiskey Sours. With some Gentleman Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But they're great books.
Yeah.
But they're not canon.
No.
So, there's no fan service there. And, of course, I'm not big into fan service. I think...
It's like there's no real point into playing some of the games if there's no, like, any historical connectivity.
Yeah.
It's like, to kind of give an example, I've not completed both of these games, but I played enough to kind of know of Dark Souls 1 and 2. Dark Souls 2 takes place...
Now, careful, because if we start talking about Dark Souls, I'm going to start having this flashback, so go on.
But it's like Dark Souls 2 takes place like such a long time away from 1 that most of the characters that probably existed back then are all like dead. Yeah. And also to the point where it's like the legends of 1 are kind of like been changed radically. But it's like you can tell what these things were, like at a point.
Yeah.
But it's like there's some form of acknowledgement, and even get some of that apparently in 3.
But it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just acknowledgement. It's just legends.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Fable 2 and the same thing with Fable 3. Now, I'll say this. There is fan service in that your hero, the hero of Bowerstone, is a descendant, a direct descendant of the hero of Oakvale. And the prince or the princess, depending on what gender you play as in 3, is a direct descendant of the hero of Bowerstone.
Mm-hmm.
There's fan service. There is a little bit. So here's problem number 2. Though I say that there's too much fan service, problem number 2.
I think you said there was not enough.
Here.
So I guess that's number 2.
Yeah. So problem number 1 is there's not enough fan service. Problem number 2 is there's too much fan service in all the wrong places.
Okay.
So Fable is built on the requirement of renown and the requirement of making connections with people around you.
Right.
Making connections with all these NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy.
Right.
Making connections. Like, the big ending of Fable 3 is you either find a way to raise the money to fund this army that'll stop this evil ooze thing, or you continue doing what your evil brother was doing and steal the money.
Right.
Really, no matter what in Fable 3, whether you're the good guy or the bad guy, you're the bad guy. In Fable 2, you're the good guy.
Yeah.
No matter what. If you do evil things, if you do good things, you're the bad guy. Or you're the good guy, I'm sorry. If in Fable 2, whether you do all these good things or bad things, you're the good guy. Because you're stopping Lord Lucian Fairfax from sacrificing all these people just to give himself immortality and to bring his wife and daughter back to life. Uh-huh. Those are his 3 goals. Bring his wife back to life, bring his daughter back to life, and give himself and them immortality.
Okay.
He's thinking selfishly, and he's willing to sacrifice all the people of Albion to do it. You're willing, on the other hand, to either give yourself money, which really, to bring your family back to life, to avenge them, which is kind of the same thinking.
Yeah.
Or to bring all the people who built the Spire back to life. No matter what, in essence, you're the good guy. Because you can use all this money, even though all these people are dead. If you take the money route, sure, you don't bring any of the people who built the Spire back to life, but you also don't bring your family back to life.
Yeah.
You can use that money to buy property around Bowerstone and Rookridge and Old Town or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can reduce taxes to nothing. You can be giving the people money. And you're the good guy. You can still rid the world of all the evil in the world and just take the money. Or you could go the path of family, the path of love, and bring your dog back to life because, honest to God, This is what pissed me off about Fable 2.
Okay.
Not the ending, not the anticlimactic ending, but the fact that I decided to go the path of love and bring Rose, my sister, back to life.
Yeah.
And all I get is a letter telling me that she's okay and she's alive. Tell me that isn't bullshit.
What the fuck?
But I do get my dog back to life.
You got your dog, but
which is great because if you get the platinum version and you get a Morgos, even though he's a mutt, you can gather up the money to like get a potion to turn him into a husky, which is kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah. That's what a cheap move. It's
what
like
a fucking bullshit move.
Yeah, it's like
But also if you got married and you have a kid, it brings them back to life. And there's a quest that your kid gets kidnapped, and you have to go save your kid.
Oh.
But I noticed a lot of the versions of the game, even if you bring your kid back to life, there's a bunch of glitches where even if you do the quest to save him, you don't actually save him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
you can't finish the quest.
So I was gonna ask. You keep mentioning like the Platinum Edition. What is that like the Game of the Year edition, or what is it?
It is the Game of the Year edition. It's the same thing, but Xbox being Xbox, they call it the Platinum Edition.
Okay.
You can buy the Game of the Year edition, but it's the exact same thing.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I thought for a moment, like, sometimes I hear about, like...
Platinum Edition.
Platinum Editions are, like, Ultimate Edition, and it's like...
There are different editions that have different DLCs, but the thing about the Platinum Edition and the Game of the Year edition for, Fable 2, there were only 2 DLCs, and if you get the Game of the Year edition and the Platinum Edition, because there were only these 2 DLCs, they're the exact same game.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess the big difference might be the improvement of graphics.
Oh, really?
But they're not that well improved. And honestly, Fable 2, playing it now is kind of a rough game to play. The graphics are kind of cartoony.
Uh-huh.
The controls, like the turning and the running, they're rough.
Right.
But there's something about that game that's just magical to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And, you know, the game was made in 2008. But I played it in 2013, 2014, and it was wonderful. The game was eye-opening. It was world-experiencing. It was great. And the problem with 3... So I said problem 1, not enough fan service.
Yeah. In
the right ways. And problem 2 was there's too much fan service in the wrong ways. They talk too much about Fable 2, but like they keep it open-ended, because obviously in Fable 1 and Fable 2 and Fable 3, you can choose to go down, you can choose to be good, you can choose to be bad.
Yeah.
Or you can be neutral. I don't know how you play.
Yeah.
But they keep it open-ended. And if you look at companies like Telltale or Bethesda, specifically Telltale, I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
So you know how Telltale will make sequel games?
Yeah.
Like they made Walking Dead season 1 and then season 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a season 2, but if you play on the same console, season 2 is influenced by how you play season 1.
Right.
And that's wonderful. They use the same information from 1 to 2. Lionhead didn't do that.
Yeah.
That was the problem. They kept fan service in that, oh, we'll keep this function and this function and this function.
Yeah.
But we won't really keep the story.
Now, I was wondering about this because I remember hearing about this. Is it true that the original king in Fable 3 is your character from Fable 2?
The original what?
The king... Wasn't there like a king character in Fable 3 at the start and they die or something?
Okay, so... how they kind of did it in Fable 3 was you're the son or daughter, I don't really give a shit,
right,
of the now dead king.
Right.
And you're related to the hero of Bowerstone, but you're not like directly descended.
Okay.
thinking about it, because keep in mind, I've played Fable 2 a lot more than I played Fable 3.
Right.
I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on Fable 3, but if I had to guess, if I'm really trying to remember, you're not, like, he's not, the hero of Bowerstone isn't your parent, your direct parent, probably your grandparent or your great-grandparent.
Okay, because I remember, I thought I heard something at one point, it may have been cut in an interview, but it's like they said...
It's very close. It's very closely related.
Because I remember hearing an interview with Boyd's like, oh yeah, if you load your save of Fable 2, you can load up the king will look just like your Fable 2 guy, and then we fucking kill him. Or something. It's like one of those...
See, I played Fable 3 from beginning to end, and I don't think I ever saw my parent. I saw my brother,
but not your parent.
But not my parent.
Okay, then I may have misheard that. There may have been
I saw pictures of the past king and queen, but keep in mind, I somehow married Lady Grey, which was a character who died in Fable 1, in Fable 2. I married her and had kids with her.
Yeah.
But I did not, when I saw the picture of the king, I did not recognize him as
your character
as the hero of Bowerstone. No,
that may just either that didn't happen, or maybe one of the things, because Peter Molyneux has that infamous history of him saying things that are going to happen in his game and then they don't happen.
That's true, and I think Peter is a fantastic game maker. I really do. I think he's great, but I don't think he's great on his own. He'll give you a lot of false information, which is, I think, is a wonderful thing. Like, if you look at, like, Game of Thrones, and, like, in between seasons, we're given false information.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's wonderful, because you don't know what to expect during the season.
Yeah.
Which, I also want to keep in mind how big of a Game of Thrones fan I am, and how I decided, instead of watching Game of Thrones, to be here. Because I thought this would be more fun.
Is it more fun?
Absolutely.
Putting that on my iTunes right now. Steve Jobs Ghost. Put down better than Game of Thrones. Put that down right now. HBO, you suck. I'm better than you. So
Hashtag fuck Game of Thrones.
Hell yeah, baby. I saw. I'm
gonna put my hat back on. By the way,
you go right ahead.
I don't know why I took my hat off while I was recording, but I'm putting it back on. Go on.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I thought this was really funny. I make an effort to block a lot of like brand things on Twitter because I like seeing what things will end up being advertised, and I didn't end up blocking the Olive Garden. For some reason, I found a tweet from them pop up that said like, "Oh, we're excited for Game of Thrones. We brought our swords, our edible swords. Hashtag breadsticks." And I was like, "That's my Game of Thrones breadsticks." But yeah, I feel like we are sort of reaching the end of the Fable 2 talk and Fable in general. So, are there any sort of shout-outs to anything you're doing or anyone else is doing that you want to do before we kind of close off?
There aren't really any major shouts right now.
But that's fine.
I'm actually gonna give one big shout to my new band. So, I over the years, I've been in and out of a lot of projects. I've worked a lot of jobs. I've been in the Army. I've been out of the Army. I was in a band a couple of years ago named Père de Vue. Shout out to the new band that's been formed by the former members of the band, Machines by Design. I'm going to give a huge shout to Machines by Design. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to give a big shout to my new up-and-coming project.
Okay.
It's a band called Juvenalian. They're a thrash punk band.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna be guttural. They're gonna be right in your face. Super political. Super
I like
social.
Those things.
Yeah. They're gonna be a big band. Juvenalian, like I said.
Do they have like any sort of online thing I can link to, or?
We don't yet, but as soon as we do have any online following, because we've got 2 songs worked out, but as soon as we have more, we're gonna record and we're gonna post them. And as soon as we do, I'm gonna let you know.
Okay, now I'll make a little update so I can link to it, because that's what I do for all my peeps. Anyone's got anything, I will link their projects. So
All right, awesome. And like I said, that band is Juvenalian, but I'll say this: Machines by Design do have stuff posted. They have a Facebook, Machines by Design.
Mm-hmm.
They're my former band. They're all the original members except me because I left town to join the army and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Machines by Design. Go follow them on Facebook.
All right, cool. And I'll put a link to that. As far as me goes, you can always follow me at Hendrix Trog on Twitter. And as always, you can listen to this podcast on Libsyn, on YouTube, and on iTunes for now. So you have all three of those. That's the end of our show. Zach, thank you so much again for coming over here. I should have mentioned this earlier. He's here with me live. But Carrie last month was here with me live. We're doing 2 times in a row, baby.
Oh yeah!
Woo! That's right. So we were both here in my place to record live, and that's just really wonderful. So thank you again, Zach. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. So within that, it's time for the music cue.